In this video, I'm going to explain how to manage worry when it comes to manifesting your goals. So you'll find that the biggest problems that occur when you're attempting to achieve a goal in your life is the constant worries that pester you throughout the day. And no matter what you do, it never seems to vanquish, it never seems to go away. That's why in this video, I'm going to explain how to truly let go of the excess worry and essentially detaching from that worry so you can manifest your goals faster. Common narrative when it comes to manifesting your goals is that you must always think positive thoughts and you must always feel positive emotions in order to manifest the events that you want to experience. Excluding action and just taking physical action. This is just about your thinking patterns and how you feel. So there's a common narrative that you must always be positive and you must never feel or think any negative emotions or thoughts. So I believe that while you do manifest unwanted circumstances through your thoughts and emotions, it's only to an extent, because if a thought or an emotion comes up, you don't need to give it power. And what I mean by that is if you mindlessly think that your thoughts and emotions always manifest themselves into your life, then you come under the false conclusion that your thoughts and emotions have power over you. And what I realized throughout the years is that it's not as true as you would think. There's some merit to it, obviously, but it's not. You have more power than you think. So don't live under the false narrative that you can't assign a meaning to your thoughts or your emotions, and you can't make negative thoughts and negative emotions a good thing for you, because it's possible. Even negative emotions can be beneficial if you think in that sort of way. Then that's what will happen. So understand, it's not really black and white. If you believe that it's black and white, then it will be. But what I've realized is that it's not black and white. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because when you worry and when you're in fear, usually those worries, those emotions, they're not going to vanish under your free will. You won't be able to force it to go away. And even if you suppress it by trying to fight it or trying to avoid it through, distracting yourself or shifting your attention away, it's still going to resurface again. So with that being said, if you can't force it to go away, why not create a different relationship to it? So this ties back to the common narrative that I spoke about earlier. When it comes to your thinking patterns and your emotions, people think that you must always be positive, because if you are not always positive, then you'll manifest negative things in your life. And when you think about it very deeply, you understand that there are a lot of holes in that concept. It's not practical. You can't live your life always positive, and it's just not realistic. Let's be honest. It's just not practical. And what I've realized is that it doesn't have to be. There's actually a way out. And the way out is understanding that you assign a meaning or a relationship to everything in your life. And without getting too esoteric, the meaning that you attach to, let's say, an event in your life that occurred, if you think of it as a blessing in disguise, then chances are the future events that unfold in your life will reflect that. You'll find a reason for why it benefited you. And by doing so, you will influence the future events that will unfold. So if you interpret it as a reason for why you're stuck in your current predicament, then that's what will happen as well. If you think of it as a limitation, then it will be a limitation. So, the mind is very fickle, and you're able to look for a meaning in, whether it's a beneficial meaning or a non-beneficial meaning. The mind is capable of both, which is why it's up to you to decide what meaning you want to attach to the events that unfold in your life. But not just the events. It can also be your thoughts, it can be your emotions, it can be your worries, right? If you're worrying, then you don't necessarily need to think of it as a bad thing, but because again, most people, just honestly, you can't really blame them because you see a lot of this. There's such a fixation on feeling positive that they won't know any better. If you, let's say you're in a state of worry and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I can't worry. If I worry, I'm going to manifest negative events. I'm going to make my problems worse. I can't worry. I need to be positive right now. And so because of that, they don't realize it. But when you're taking action to distract your attention and to avoid the worry, then you're actually making the problem worse. So it's funny because it's very counterintuitive. What you would expect to be the solution isn't really the solution. In this case, the solution is to simply accept the worry and let it be. Let the worry take place, because that is the best thing you can do to let go of the worry. But if you try to control the worry, then it'll just remain there for much longer than it needs to. If you feel worry, then accept it, feel it in the moment, and very quickly will you allow the worry to just run its course. But a lot of people, they have these tendencies, they want to control their emotions, and as a consequence, that worry, the process of letting go is prolonged for much, much longer. So that's a big problem. And that's why it's important to accept the worries. Even though you might not like the advice that I'm giving you, you might or might not like it, but it works. If you allow the feelings to be, then you will actually notice yourself letting go, because you're not giving the worry a reason to prolong itself. You're just allowing it to exist. So you'll feel it for sure, but then you'll also feel a decline in the potency of the emotion. You'll feel a sensation of letting go. So that's an effective approach that I would recommend, and that's how you manage your worries when you're manifesting your goals. I'm starting to believe that when it comes to manifestation, there are many things that will make you think to yourself that you're a slave to your thoughts and emotions, because there's so much fixation on reprogramming your mind and reprogramming your emotions and reprogramming everything that you kind of forget where it all stems from. There's so much fixation on your emotions and your thoughts that you forget that you are not your emotions and your thoughts to begin with. And this fixation, it makes you forget that you're not a slave to your thoughts and emotions. There's so much information out there that states you create your reality through your thoughts, emotions, and other things, but primarily the thoughts and emotions. That's why when people think negative thoughts and emotions, they get very fearful, because that's what they hear. And it's very logical when you think about it. If I think negative, if I feel negative, then shouldn't that equal negative events? No, because there were pieces of information that weren't really mentioned when they talked about what creates your reality. And I think the key thing to know is, having basic self-awareness and understanding that you're not a slave to your thoughts and your feelings. If you are willing to help it, if you're willing to understand that, then you will establish a different dynamic with your thoughts and emotions. And that's really key, because if intrusive thoughts and feelings won't stop coming up, then what relationship do you want to have with them if they're never going to end? It's a very important question, because by establishing an empowering relationship to your worries, then your worries won't actually be a problem. They'll just if you're in a state of worry, you'll feel the worry, you'll feel it in your gut, you'll feel the gut-wrenching worry in this moment, but then it's going to disperse because you just allowed it to happen. Other than that, I don't really know what else to say. This is how you deal with the worries. Again, it's very counterintuitive, but I promise you this does work if you're willing to apply it. And without further ado, I conclude this video. Hope you found this helpful. And if you did, I would appreciate it if you would leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next one.